This is the story of my uncle, a seasoned taxi driver, and the night he swore he encountered something that still haunts him to this day. It happened on a humid night in the heart of Quezon City, along the infamous Balete Drive, a stretch of road whispered to be cursed. My uncle had just finished dropping off a passenger and decided to take a shortcut through Balete Drive. As he approached the giant balete tree standing ominously by the roadside, he spotted her. A woman dressed in a long, flowing white gown was standing under the tree, head slightly bowed, her face obscured by her long, jet-black hair. My uncle hesitated for a moment, a knot forming in his stomach. He'd heard the stories, the White Lady of Balete Drive, but he brushed it off. He was tired, and she looked like someone in need. Slowing to a stop, he rolled down the window and asked,
"Miss, do you need a ride?"
The woman didn't speak. She simply nodded and opened the back door, sliding in silently. My uncle noticed the chill in the air the moment she sat down. The night was eerily quiet, with only the faint rustling of leaves and the soft hum of his engine breaking the silence. His air conditioning wasn't even on. As he glanced in the rearview mirror, a wave of unease washed over him. She was staring out of the window, her face still hidden by her hair.
"Where to, ma'am?"
He asked, his voice slightly shaky. Her response was faint, almost a whisper, but he caught it. "Straight ahead." He complied, his hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. The road stretched on, but something felt off. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up, and a cold sweat dripped down his temple. Every time he glanced in the mirror, the woman seemed to shift slightly, as if she were inching closer to him without actually moving. Finally, he mustered the courage to speak again.
"Miss, are you okay? You look pale."
This time she didn't respond. Instead, she slowly turned her head toward him, revealing her face. My uncle froze. Her eyes were hollow, empty pits of darkness, and her mouth twisted into a chilling, inhuman smile. Panic surged through him, and he slammed on the brakes. When he whipped around to confront her, the back seat was empty. She was gone. Shaking uncontrollably, my uncle sped off, refusing to look back. He only stopped when he reached a crowded gas station, his heart pounding like a drum. Later that night, he told his fellow drivers what had happened. One of them simply nodded and said,
"You're not the first. That's the White Lady of Balete Drive. She's been haunting that road for decades."
To this day, my uncle refuses to take Balete Drive, especially at night. He says he can still feel her presence, lingering, waiting for her next unsuspecting passenger.